Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Happiness Journey with drdan podcast, where every journey is worth living. My name is Dr. Dan, and I'm your host for today's episode. I'm a bilingual cognitive behavior psychotherapist specializing in anger management issues, both court-appointed and private, marriage counseling using the EFT method, dissociative disorders, narcissistic personality disorders, depression, anxiety, dream analysis, and also provide life, business, and retirement coaching support. I provide individual one-on-one sessions in both English or in French, and also group settings. If you need any assistance, reach out to DMV Therapy and coaching services at 301-325-1550. And our website can be found at lifecoachddanamzallag.com. Today, I'm very excited to have for our third episode of season 10, a very special guest and motivational speaker, Heidi Alldredge. And just like every of my past episode, I will leave it up to the guests to properly introduce themselves, as no one can do a better job. Heidi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here and I appreciate this. So it's great to meet you and your followers. I am Heidi and I am a wife of 30 years. I have 3 kids. They're all grown up, which gave me 5 grandkids. So
Wow.
loving life with that. Yes, that's the best part of life right now. And I'm a podcaster and a motivational speaker. I started a radio talk show back in 1999 called Heidi's LemonAid Stand. And that is now turned into a podcast where I get to interview people all across the world and learn about their amazing lemon to lemonade stories. And so I spend my days meeting incredible people. So life is good.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Heidi, for being a part of this podcast and also share to our many listeners your own personal incredible story. So, how did you get started to become a motivational speaker? What was your own personal journey to happiness?
Right. It was definitely a journey. I was not a happy person. I have not. It has been something I have learned, which now I know it's possible to learn. And so now I teach it. I was so negative. I was bullied a lot when I was a kid and hated life and thought the world would be better off without me. I was very suicidal, just really struggled with a lot of family issues in my life and just couldn't find any good in anything. And I was very much a I'll be happy when kind of person. I'll be happy when I graduate high school. I'll be happy when I move out. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I have kids. And then those things would happen and I'd still be like, okay, now I'll be happy when I can have my dream house or have my dream job. And it just never happened. I was never happy. I was always waiting to be happy. And I had a friend tell me one time we were working out together and we'd been working out for several months. And finally she just said, I can't be around you anymore. You're just too negative. Yeah. It kind of wakes you up. You're like, oh, I didn't realize I was that bad. Like, I just thought I was like everybody else, just complaining all the time about when I can be happy. And yeah, so I kind of took a look at myself and realized there's a lot of other people out there suffering with things as well, and even things worse than I actually was going through. And so I started my radio talk show at that point, just wanting to get to know people and find out how they can be so happy after really traumatic things they've been through. And
Mm,
that just totally changed my perspective. I was like, wow, you really can go through a terrible tragedy and come out okay. And it was so eye-opening and so inspiring. And so that kind of put me on the path. And then I learned about the secret and the power of positive thinking after that. And that really freaked me out because I thought, oh, I'm bringing all this negativity to me by the thoughts I put out there. And so I changed my thoughts quickly after I learned about that and just started having a more positive vibe and trying to stay on that level all the time and only think good things. I want to bring good things into my life. And so, yeah, it just went from there. I got some training and I've been teaching for about 10 years now, teaching and speaking about habits of happiness and ways to just travel through life on a happier level and not wait for happiness to come
exactly.
because it's already here.
Yes. Now, the transition, or I would say changing your mindset, Heidi, what did you have to go through to be able to really forget about how you were in the past? Because this is something that is ingrained, something that you grew up with this negativity, and then changing completely your perception to something positive, something beside, you told me the loss of your father when you were younger, but was there anything else that really kind of like pushed you to say, okay, what was before was toxic, now I need to change?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Definitely the loss of my father, he died by suicide. And so that definitely was a big turning point in my life because I had been considering suicide. And to read his suicide note that, everyone will be better off without me was just so like shocking to know because that's what I thought. I
Yes.
thought everybody would be better off without me as well. And we weren't, and he missed everything. He missed me graduating high school. He missed me getting married. He missed everything. And so I'm like, I don't think any of us were better off without him in our life. And now he would be a great grandpa. So he's just missed everything. He died at 38, just way too young.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
really, really young. So he missed a lot. And so definitely that was a big turning point in my life of just noticing people and seeing that other people are hurting maybe even as much as I was and
Mhm.
kind of getting outside myself and going, you know what? I don't want anybody else to take their life, because they were feeling like nobody cared about them. And I was already feeling that way. So that definitely changed my thinking then. And then, of course, years went by and I kind of went back to the old habits of feeling sorry for myself. And I went through infertility and we were very poor and just, stuff that was just weighing me down again. I kind of went back to that thinking and, uh, and at that point, I think a lot of it was just things I learned from other people through the radio show and in books and just learning, the power of my mind and the power of my thoughts and trying to have those be more positive. And so I really think it took a long time. It was a process. And I still, to this day, even, this morning, when you get up and you're like, I'm not good enough, or I don't know what to wear or do or say, and you just kind of go through those negative thoughts that have to come in all the time. And you have to tell them where to go and how to get there. You have to push them away and bring in the positive thoughts. You have to question those thoughts. That's a big thing I've learned is to just question the thoughts and go, is that true? Is that really true? Where's the proof of that thought? Because it's not a nice thing. And would I say that to my best friend? Probably not, because it's not nice. So
Mm.
why am I entertaining it in my own mind? So it's been a lot of training to just stop myself.
Yes.
I'm not perfect at it by any means. My family would be like, yeah, you need to keep practicing.
But the life is all about practice. It's
It
never
is.
always learn new things. And like I said, when I was going through my master's and doctorate degree, every time I learned more, I realized how stupid I was.
How much you don't know.
Well, how much
Yes,
you don't know exactly. So it's incredible the
exactly.
journey myself in studying and getting my degree. But when you became a motivational speaker, did you ever go through this kind of imposter syndrome to feel that who am I to be able to teach others when I myself had to like allow all this negativity to come into my mind? Now, how
Right.
can I actually teach others to be positive?
Right? Doesn't that happen to all of us where we're like, people will know I'm not really that positive, or people, and it's like you feel like, oh, they're gonna find out I'm not very good at this, or I haven't done this very long, or whatever it is that comes into your head. But then you have to think, you know what, who's a better expert at being you than you? So of course you're an expert at this. You have lived these however many years, I'm not gonna say how many, lots of years
Yes.
being you and being a master at that. And so I've had to kind of tell myself that same thing of like, you know what? So let them get somebody else to talk to them. That's fine. I can only bring what I can bring and be myself and share my stories. And hopefully that'll resonate with someone in the audience. And so I've had to just quiet those voices as well and just go, you know what? They want me to be there for whatever reason, and it's meant to be, and something has brought us together, and there is a message that needs to be shared. And so you just kind of fill your mind with more positive reasons, like they chose me. There's a reason they chose me to come and speak to their group today. And I think as we keep doing it, keep showing up, keep being real and teachable, we'll find more opportunities to keep improving ourselves.
That's so true. Absolutely. Well, listeners, you've heard that advice. Definitely take it to heart. Now, when it comes to your professional life and your personal life, have you felt that you've not transitioned necessarily, but have taken this negativity and put it into your personal relationship as well? Or how, like when it comes to dating, when it comes to finding your soulmate, etc., do you feel that you also were negative in that area?
You know what? Good question. I really think I could put on a pretty good act for a while. I was definitely a drama queen, and when I met my husband, it was just a couple of years after my dad had died. I was very young. I met him when I went to college. And so I was still kind of on that little bit of a high, I guess you could say, of just trying to be this really better person. And so I don't know if it was a bait and switch kind of thing, but he definitely was we were a great match, and we got married quick and had kids right away, but he's endured a lot to be married to me. Let's just say that. I definitely I definitely had struggles after we were married, and I even got postpartum depression and things like that too. So I definitely put him through a lot, but he's a really positive person, and he's always been that way, and he's always seen the bright side of life, and just the cup is full, all the time with this guy. He's just amazing. And so and he's studied, psychology and therapy and stuff. So he's always just kind of been my therapist anyway, but just a good guy, And so I've been very, very blessed. But yes, we all go through those periods in life, and we definitely have our ups and downs. And I definitely had some deep down periods. And luckily I got therapy, I got medication, and I feel like we get second chances. We're now empty nesters and we're all we have, and we're just thriving and loving life together. But there was definitely periods when my kids were young where, I was kind of that grumpy mom, and I'm trying to make up for that now with being an awesome grandma. And I'm really close to my children still. But yeah, we just have to be easy on ourselves, and give ourselves grace for the things we didn't know then that we know now, and try to improve ourselves. And there was definitely a time when I said, this is just who I am. This is just my personality. Just deal with it. This is just how I'm going to be. And my husband would be like, okay.
Okay, there's no flexibility there.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I'd find a book and be able to read about ways that we can change our thinking. And it was very powerful. And he just endured. He was great support. So
That's good to have a partner like that, because
yeah,
not a lot of people, for them, you see the new generation now, Heidi, when something is broken, they replace it, they don't fix it.
right.
And
Get
this
rid
is
of
what
it.
we have to teach to people. Say, look, it doesn't mean that there's some little broken pieces in the relationship that you have to
Yeah.
completely replace it. Try to figure out what are the broken pieces and learn how to fix it. This is how our old generation, they were married for 50, 60, 70 years. Why not now? I mean, now
Yeah.
that's why there's 50% divorce, like statistics here in the US, is that no one is putting enough effort anymore. And that's what
Right.
I've noticed in my practice and in everyone that I coach. It's sad. It's really,
Yeah.
really sad to see that.
We definitely put in the effort. I can say that. There was definitely a moment when we were like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work for us anymore. It was really hard. But
Yeah.
I noticed in that moment that when we point fingers at our spouse, it's all your fault. There are three fingers pointing back at us when we point that one finger at someone else.
Mhm.
And so it's a time to really look at ourselves and be like three times as much look at ourselves, of what we're contributing to the situation and to the marriage and to the relationship. And man, that was hard. That's painful and hard. But when you can do that and step back, stop pointing the finger, only work on yourself because you can't change your partner, and just be your best self, then miracles happen,
Yes.
change happens, and relationships improve.
And just like the laws of attraction, and I'm sure like you read the Secret and you've watched the movie, they said that the thought becomes the things that you want in life. But yet, if you don't put action and belief behind in between the equation, nothing will ever happen. And that's the thing. People think that the laws of attraction are entitlement. They say, okay, I'm going to
Right.
sit my ass down on the couch. I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to expect a Lamborghini to show up in my garage. Well, that's not going to happen if you don't do anything.
Does
So,
not.
but then that could work also against you, which
Yes, very much.
if you think negative
Yep.
and you put action and belief into that negativity, then negativity will follow. So you have to really choose what side you want to be on.
Yeah. I was so negative that even if we got like extra money, like a tax return or something, I'd be so negative that I'd be like, oh, great, what's going to break now that we have to fix with this money? Instead of dreaming of the future and the good things that are coming. And it would, the washer and dryer would break, the car would break. Like I asked for it, And so then it would solidify again. Yep, I knew it. This is my life. This is how it is. And I would look for all of the negative things and all of the bad and hard and difficult and things breaking. That's just how I woke up every day. oh, yesterday was an okay day, so that means today isn't going to be very good.
Yes,
That's how I woke up
that's the
every day.
mindset. Absolutely.
Yeah, imagine living with that. It
Oh,
was not my poor husband, right? No,
oh God, what's
it
gonna be
was a
today
lot.
with Heidi again? Oh,
Yes, yeah,
how she's gonna
exactly.
surprise me.
Exactly. So he was very glad when I learned
Yes.
to think a little bit different. And now it's now I help him. It's actually really funny. So he'll get stressed about something at work and I'm just like, how is that serving you right now? What is that bringing to your life? It's bringing you more stress. So why don't you look at it this way? And he's like, okay, yeah, I know. So,
The student becomes a teacher.
yes, that's right.
Here we
Because now
go.
I practice it a lot more than he does now.
Beautiful. Now,
Yeah.
if we have to quantify the timeline between when you start changing your mindset to say, I'm going to think positive until I start seeing things to be positive,
Yeah.
what would you tell to listeners that how long will it in average take? Is it 30 days, 50 days, 100 days of thinking positive before the universe start putting your dreams into action?
You know what? I love that you asked that. I wish I could say, but for me,
For you,
it was literally instantly. It was
excellent.
crazy. It really was because I was so negative and so deep in that I remember one day just being like, well, what if today was actually like, what if I actually thought, well, maybe today could be a good day. Maybe good things will happen. Maybe I can bring good things to me. If I'm bringing this negativity to me that easy, what if I could bring positivity to me that easy? And so I just started just thinking more, like just kind of imagining things going really great or just finding blessings in my life, just changing that look of like, wow, we're all healthy today. That's a
Mhm.
good day,
That's
wow, we paid our bills, and just kind of and then that's true. And then it keeps coming and you keep looking for it. And so, I mean, I would imagine definitely anything you're going to try new, that takes the 30 to 50 days to become a
yes,
habit.
that's
But
correct.
for me, it was so immediate gratification of like happening instantly, when I think a positive thing or I'd look for something and find it. It was like, wow, this is powerful. Like this is scary powerful. I don't want to think negative again because, it was powerful that way too. So for me, I was a quick learner. So
But the thing also, we have to make it clear to the listeners that the change of mindset has to be very gradual. Don't expect tomorrow to be as wealthy as Elon Musk because
of
it's
course,
not gonna
yes,
happen. So we have
of
to do
course,
like baby steps, like little changes that you
that's what it
were
is.
negative about before, and now you're changing them to become positive. So, but then it requires action and belief into yourself. Because if you
Yes.
don't have that, if you're thinking that you want to do something positive, but you feel that you're a loser or a moron, then obviously the belief is gone.
The belief is right that yes, exactly. No, and that's the thing is it does take that time, like, and you have to work towards things. Like you said, you can't just sit on the couch and be like, okay, everything's going to come to me now. But
Yes.
as you get up each day and as you have this focus and you have this goal and this purpose and this drive and you're at this higher vibration, then you just start noticing all these things coming at you to support the good that you're doing. And
Yes.
so that's what I'm trying to say is it's really immediate that way when you can change your mindset and start looking like, you know what, if you get up and you stub your toe and you're like, oh, it's going to be a terrible day, then
Yeah.
the rest of the day
Will
you'll
be
be looking for everything to justify that.
Mhm.
But if you get up in the morning and you stub your toe and you're like, all right, well, that's over now. Let's bring on the rest of the day. It's going to be a great day. Then even if hard things come at you, you're still going to be looking for the good things throughout the day. It's just what you decide to focus on grows. Is what you were saying. Thoughts become things. And so if you're going to think it's going to be a terrible day and what else is going to break, what else is going to happen, bring it on. It will show up. So
Yes, it will.
be very, very afraid. No, I'm just kidding.
But
But just look at it in a good way, positive things instead. And it's amazing. Even little things like I've had to start giving awards every day just to keep my mind really focused on gratitude. And
okay.
so every day I have this thing set on my phone, a reminder to give an award. And it's a Simply the Best award. And so throughout the day, I'm always looking, what's simply the best? Simply the best thing about today. And I look for things like the little puppy with its head out the window in a car enjoying the wind or the sunset as I'm riding my bike past the lake or flowers in a neighbor's yard, just something simply the best, whatever it can be. It can be anything you want. And it really gets your mind as you spend the day going, okay, what's going to be my award today?
Yes.
Wow.
You
It
look for that.
changes. Yeah, you look for the award all day long. And then you're at the end of the day going, oh, wow, which one can I choose? Well, this was really great and this was really great. And you kind of forget about the little bumps along the way and the hard things that happen because you're focusing on giving that award for simply the best. And even, there's some bad days. There's some really hard
Of
days.
course.
And
Yeah.
even recently my son's best friend died at 28 years old, suddenly in a car accident. And it's hard to think of positive things that day, and just to try to change your mind. This is tragic. This is terrible. This is hard. I hate this, and the effect it has on his family and everyone else. And you can spiral into you have your moments and you're grieving. And I just remember a couple days later at the funeral when my son could be the pallbearer, and that got the award for the day. Simply the best, that my son can honor his best friend one last time, you know?
Yeah.
So we even have to find awards in sometimes some of our hardest days.
Yes, absolutely. Now, it is a human nature to always look for instant gratification. And you were saying about, giving yourself little awards here and there. So that actually feeds to wanting to look for more good things happening in your life.
Absolutely.
So that in itself, you basically fulfill that need every single day. And at the same time, a lot of people fail to practice gratitude. And I feel that being grateful about little things happening, we're not talking about major like wealth coming into your life or anything like that,
Right.
but the little thing can actually bring to bigger things. But people lack patience, Heidi. And this is
Right.
what I have seen a lot. So say, when am I going to be able to hit a million? Why is it taking so long? Why this? Why that? It's hard to be able to wrap your mind around a timeline of
Time.
when this is going to happen because no one can predict the future. So how do you teach in your motivational speaking that patience is definitely a virtue and we need to be virtuous?
Right? Oh my goodness. And that is the P word that I hate the most. Like, that was something my husband would drill into me. You gotta be patient. You gotta be, no, I'm not gonna be patient. I want this now. So I am like the worst at patience, and definitely do not pray for patience and do not ask the universe for patience, because you will be tested beyond all
Yeah.
you want of more reasons to have to learn to be patient. So don't do that. So really with patience is I love in my own life to just put it out there. And I tend to think of it, this is what I teach people. It's so weird, but it works for me. Is in the olden days, we would go to the bank to deposit a paycheck and we'd want cash back, And so we're at the drive up, we put the money in the little tube, it goes up in the air somewhere, plops down in front of a teller, and she goes off and does whatever she does, her job. And then sooner or later, the little tube comes back and plops in front of our car and we have our money. So with patience, would you just drive off? If you put the money, the deposit in there, and it's taking a minute, you don't know where the teller went. You don't know when she's coming back. So you're just going to leave? You're just going to give up? You're going to quit? You're going to drive away? Nobody would do that, right? Like, nope, I'm going to sit here in my car until that tube comes back.
Yes.
And so for me, I just tend to be like, you know what? I'm going to quit. I'm going to give up. This isn't happening. It's not working for me. And I have to realize, am I driving away from the bank? And it's usually at that breaking point when I'm ready to just like, forget it. It's been long enough. This isn't happening for me. I'm pulling the plug, and literally that day will be when something turns around. And it's the craziest thing. I remember even just recently, I signed up for this website to do advertising, and there was like this 3-month trial, and if you don't have any income from this 3 months, so I had it set on my phone, the date, that 3-month date, I was going to cancel it, 'cause I'm not paying for it. And then I'm ready. It comes to the date, and my husband says, what if they want to hire you next week? But you've canceled it. He's like, what if somebody wants to hire you next month, but you canceled it? He's like, you've already paid for the year. You've already given it this long. Just wait. 1 week later, 7 days later, after not canceling it, I got a couple of paid, results from that.
Wow.
Double what I ever paid for the advertising. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, it would have been driving away from the bank if I would have hit delete. I'm done. I gave you my trial period. Nothing happened. I'm out. and it comes a week later, I would have missed out on all the rest of the year of all the opportunities that are coming. So it's a good lesson, we just need to pause for a minute. Just wait. I hate to say patient, but that's what we have to do. Just wait, pause, hold on. Good things are coming into your life. And we counter we contradict ourselves when we put it out there and put a time limit. That's what we do. We're like, yeah, I want this in my life, but it better come right now. Like we're contradicting, and we cannot do that. We need to just put it out there and accept it when it comes in its time and the way it comes. And we'll be blessed, and we'll see the daily blessings.
There's a book from the author Eckhart Tolle,
Yep.
Power of Now. And that
Yep.
teaches you to really, it teaches you really to live in a mindful environment, like to live today and not always think about the past, because people tend to always stay in the past and always try to predict the future, which is unsure. And a lot of people think like, okay, if I'm thinking about this in 20 days and it doesn't happen, then you get disappointed, you get depressed, and you start giving up, as you mentioned, and then you leave the bank. But I love
Yep.
the analogy. It's very, very interesting. Now, how can people or listeners find you for your motivational speaking?
I have a website, Heidi's Lemonade Stand. It's really
Oh,
simple. Heidi's Lemonade Stand. That's my website to get a hold of me, to book me for any speaking engagements. I have my podcast as Heidi's Lemonade Stand. And yeah, you just reach out to me there, and I love it. I have a lot to share, obviously.
yes.
I am an adjunct instructor, so I have a class that I'm teaching this fall. And so I'm always looking for more people to interview and more groups to speak to.
I love it. I love it. Well, Heidi, that is all the time that we have for today's podcast. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. And thank you again for participating and inspiring our many listeners with your incredible story. Now, we hope that you've all enjoyed today's episode. I'm also very excited about the many upcoming guests that we have scheduled for season 10 of the Happiness Journey podcast, filled with inspirational stories just like the one that you listened to today. Now, here are some concluding words of wisdom. It is thanks to the many out there who said no to you that should give you the initiative to push forward and accomplish all your dreams. I'm not saying that you should stop asking for help in your journey to reaching your goals or ambition, but when you do hear a no, your journey doesn't stop here. It should give you the drive to push forward and get to where you want to go. Many are not as eager to see you succeed, and even though your idea can generate billions of dollars, they would prefer breaking you down and discourage you from moving forward. Hence, the reason why you need to always figure out plan B if plan A didn't pan out. You need to come to realization that life is not always sunshine and rainbows. If you really set your mind to succeed, you need to allow yourself to realize that most of the hard work will have to be done by yourself. Only then will you see success, and people will start flocking back to your side, wanting a piece of the action. No one will ever trust you to succeed until they see you push through the most challenging times. Overnight success does not exist. And when you see that happening, it is because you have not witnessed the decade of struggles that successful person had to go through. To you, it appears to be overnight, but to that person, it is years of suffering, isolation, sacrifice, and so much more. If you want to succeed, start learning to do things yourself. My name is Dr. Dan Anzallag, and you may all keep pursuing your amazing journey in life.